There are moments in life when the truth does not arrive with loud announcements or dramatic confrontations. Instead, it quietly finds the person who needs to see it most, changing everything they believed without a single warning. If these words have found you today, it is because your soulmate has recently stepped into one of those unforgettable moments. They have finally learned about a battle you were fighting behind closed doors, a battle you never spoke about, never used as an excuse, and never expected anyone to fully understand. It wasn't because you wanted to keep secrets. It was because some burdens are carried in silence, not to hide the truth, but to protect the hearts of the people we care about. Somehow, through an unexpected series of events, a forgotten conversation, a meaningful observation, or a piece of your story revealed by life itself, they discovered what was happening beneath the surface all along. In an instant, everything they thought they knew about you began to change. They realized that while they were trying to understand your actions, they never stopped to wonder what invisible weight you were carrying every single day. Suddenly, your quiet moments no longer looked like emotional distance. Your moments of hesitation no longer seemed confusing. Even the times when you smiled through difficult situations now carried an entirely different meaning. The truth they uncovered reached far beyond anything they had imagined, and it has left them deeply shaken because they are beginning to understand that you were fighting battles they never even knew existed. Since that realization, your soulmate has found themselves returning to memory after memory with completely different eyes. Moments they once overlooked now seem filled with hidden meaning. They remember times when you insisted that everything was fine, even though something inside you was quietly struggling. They remember how you always found the strength to encourage others while asking for very little in return. At the time, they admired your calmness without realizing how much courage it took to maintain it. Now they understand that your strength was never the absence of hardship. It was your decision not to allow hardship to change the goodness that lived within your heart. That discovery has touched them more deeply than they ever expected, because they are finally realizing that the kindest souls are often the ones carrying the heaviest burdens without asking anyone to notice. Every reflection leaves them asking the same question: how did you continue giving so much of yourself while quietly carrying so much alone? What has affected them the most is not simply learning about your hidden struggles, but recognizing the incredible grace with which you carried them. You never demanded sympathy. You never allowed your private battles to become excuses for treating others unfairly. Instead, you continued choosing compassion, patience, and understanding, even during seasons when your own heart desperately needed those same gifts. That realization has become impossible for your soulmate to ignore, because it has revealed a side of you they had never truly seen before. They now understand that your silence was never empty. It was filled with courage. Your resilience was never effortless. It was earned through countless moments when giving up would have seemed easier than moving forward. And now, as these truths continue unfolding inside their heart, they are beginning to understand that the strongest people are not always those who appear fearless. They are often the ones who quietly carry life's greatest challenges while continuing to bring light into the lives of everyone around them. What your soulmate has discovered has changed the way they see your past, your heart, and the extraordinary strength that has been living inside you all along. And this emotional awakening is only beginning, and listen carefully. Because since discovering what you were quietly carrying behind closed doors, your soulmate has found it almost impossible to see you the way they once did. What they uncovered has not simply answered questions about your past. It has completely changed the meaning of countless moments they once misunderstood. They have begun realizing that while they were focused on what was happening between the two of you, there was an entirely different story unfolding within you, one you never asked anyone to carry. Looking back now, they remember days when you seemed tired but still chose to encourage everyone around you. They remember moments when you quietly excused yourself instead of allowing your emotions to become someone else's burden. At the time, they assumed you simply needed space or preferred to handle things alone. Today, they understand something much deeper. You were protecting the people you cared about from battles they could not see. You were carrying responsibilities, worries, disappointments, and emotional weight without expecting anyone to rescue you. That realization has filled them with a respect they never anticipated, because they now recognize that true strength is often invisible. It rarely announces itself. Instead, it quietly reveals itself through people who continue showing kindness while carrying burdens no one else knows exist. As these memories continue returning, they have started noticing details that escaped them before. They remember how you rarely complained, even during seasons when life gave you every reason to do so. They remember that instead of asking why difficult things kept happening, you quietly searched for ways to keep moving forward. There were moments when your eyes revealed exhaustion, yet your words still offered hope to those around you. There were days when your own heart needed comfort, but you became the one comforting everyone else. At the time, they admired your calm nature without understanding what it truly cost you. Now every one of those moments carries a completely different meaning. They understand that resilience is not pretending pain does not exist. Resilience is choosing not to let pain decide the kind of person you become. This realization has deeply affected them because they are beginning to understand that your greatest victories were never the ones visible to the world. They were the quiet decisions you made every single day to remain compassionate, honest, and faithful to your values. Even while facing struggles that could have easily changed your heart, because your heart needs this right now, know that your soulmate has also begun questioning how many opportunities they missed to truly understand you. They wonder how often you quietly hoped someone would notice you were carrying more than you allowed yourself to say. They think about the conversations that ended too quickly, the moments when they accepted your simple, "I'm okay," without realizing how much courage those words required. Looking back now, they understand that you were never searching for attention. If anything, you became an expert at hiding your pain behind ordinary conversations and gentle smiles. That realization has humbled them, because they now see that emotional strength is not measured by how loudly someone speaks about their struggles. Sometimes it is measured by how much love they continue giving, while quietly carrying burdens no one else can see. They realize your silence was never an attempt to create distance. It was your way of protecting the people around you while you searched for the strength to carry another day. There is another truth that continues growing inside your soulmate with every passing moment. They have stopped seeing your hidden struggles as signs of weakness and started recognizing them as evidence of extraordinary character. Many people allow hardship to make them suspicious, bitter, or emotionally closed. Yet somehow, despite everything you were facing, you continued choosing patience instead of anger, understanding instead of resentment, and hope instead of despair. They now understand that those choices were never easy. They were decisions you made repeatedly, often when no one else was watching. That understanding has become one of the greatest lessons they have ever received, because it has shown them that real courage is often found in ordinary moments. It is found in getting up when life feels heavy, offering kindness when your own heart is tired, and continuing to believe in tomorrow, even when today feels overwhelming. And listen to this, because your soulmate is beginning to realize that what you were quietly fighting behind closed doors did not define you. It revealed you. It revealed the depth of your compassion, the strength of your spirit, and the quiet determination that carried you through seasons most people would never fully understand. They now see that every challenge you faced became another reason you learned empathy instead of judgment. Every difficult chapter strengthened your ability to love with greater patience and greater sincerity. The person standing before them was never someone untouched by hardship. You were someone transformed by it. That realization has awakened something profound within their heart, because they now understand that the most inspiring souls are rarely those who have lived the easiest lives. They are the ones who have walked through darkness without allowing that darkness to take away their ability to bring light to everyone else. And seeing that truth has forever changed the way your soulmate sees you. And listen carefully, because something has quietly begun changing inside your soulmate, and it is far more profound than simple sympathy. Learning about the battles you faced behind closed doors has awakened a level of understanding they never thought possible. They no longer see your journey through isolated moments or brief conversations. Instead, they are beginning to recognize the invisible thread connecting everything they once struggled to understand about you. Suddenly, your moments of hesitation no longer seem uncertain. Your thoughtful pauses no longer appear distant. Even the times when you chose to carry your emotions privately, instead of asking for help, now reveal a quiet strength they completely overlooked. They are realizing that while many people reveal their pain through anger or frustration, you carried yours through quiet perseverance. You refused to let your personal struggles become someone else's burden, and that decision speaks to the kind of heart you have always possessed. The more they reflect on this truth, the more deeply they admire not only what you survived, but the remarkable person you chose to become because of it. As these realizations continue unfolding, your soulmate finds themselves remembering the little things that once seemed insignificant. They think about how you always noticed when someone else was struggling, even during seasons when your own heart was carrying more than enough. They remember how you celebrated other people's victories without drawing attention to your own disappointments. They recall the times when you quietly encouraged others despite needing encouragement yourself. Looking back now, they understand these were never random acts of kindness. They were reflections of a heart that refused to let hardship define its character. They now recognize that many people become consumed by their own pain, yet somehow you continued making room for compassion, generosity, and understanding. This realization has left them deeply moved, because they finally see that your greatest strength was not pretending everything was perfect. Your greatest strength was choosing to remain a source of peace, while privately carrying storms no one else could see. Because your heart needs this right now. Know that your soulmate has also begun recognizing how much courage it took for you to remain hopeful. Hope is easy when life feels predictable, but you continued believing in brighter days, even when your own journey became uncertain. They understand now that every smile you offered carried hidden determination. Every calm response reflected an inner battle already being fought. Every act of patience represented another victory over circumstances that could have easily changed the way you treated the world. They have come to realize that resilience is not built through easy seasons. It is shaped through countless unseen decisions to keep moving forward when standing still would have felt much easier. That understanding has completely transformed the way they view your character, because they now appreciate that your quiet perseverance was never accidental. It was the result of a heart that chose faith over fear, growth over bitterness, and compassion over self-pity. Even when no one else recognized the effort behind those choices, another powerful realization has begun settling into their heart. They are no longer asking why you didn't reveal everything you were carrying. Instead, they are beginning to understand why you chose to protect your private battles. They see now that your silence was never created by distrust. It came from a desire to prevent your struggles from becoming someone else's weight. You believed that love should bring comfort rather than constant worry, so you quietly carried more than anyone realized. Looking back, they understand that this was not emotional distance, it was selfless strength. They now admire the balance you maintained between acknowledging your own pain and refusing to let it overshadow the care you showed others. That realization has inspired them because they recognize how rare it is to meet someone who continues giving light even while searching for it themselves. Your journey has become proof that genuine strength is often found not in dramatic moments, but in the quiet choices made day after day when no one is watching. And listen to this. Because your soulmate is beginning to understand that the hidden battles you fought were never the most important part of your story. The most important part was the heart that emerged from those battles. They see now that every challenge refined your patience, every disappointment deepened your empathy, and every difficult season strengthened your ability to love without expecting anything in return. They no longer define you by the struggles you faced. They define you by the grace with which you walked through them. That realization has reshaped the way they see not only your past, but also your future. They understand now that someone capable of carrying so much with such quiet dignity possesses a rare kind of inner strength that cannot be taught or imitated. It is earned through perseverance, humility, and unwavering hope. As this truth continues settling into their heart, they feel themselves becoming a different person as well, someone more willing to look beneath appearances, more patient with the journeys of others, and more appreciative of the extraordinary courage it takes to keep loving, keep believing, and keep moving forward when the hardest battles are the ones fought behind closed doors. And listen carefully, because your soulmate has reached a moment where simply knowing the truth is no longer enough. What they discovered about the battles you quietly fought has awakened something much deeper than sympathy. It has awakened responsibility. They can no longer look back on your connection through the same lens, because they now understand there were chapters of your life unfolding in silence while they were only seeing the surface. Every expectation they once placed upon you now feels different. They realize there were days when you were already carrying more than enough before anyone asked anything else of you. Yet somehow, you continued showing up with kindness instead of frustration, patience instead of resentment, and quiet determination instead of complaints. The more they reflect on this, the more they recognize that your strength was never loud because it never needed to be. It revealed itself through consistency, through the way you continued caring even when life was asking everything of you. This understanding has left them deeply humbled because they now recognize that they measured your actions without ever measuring the weight you were carrying behind them. As these thoughts settle into their heart, they begin revisiting moments they once believed they understood completely. There were times when they thought you seemed distracted, only to realize now that your mind was occupied by struggles you never wanted to place upon anyone else's shoulders. There were moments when they wished you had shared more, not realizing that you were already protecting everyone around you from burdens you believed were yours alone to carry. Looking back, they can see that your silence was never a wall built to keep people away. It was a shelter you built around others, so they would not have to experience the same emotional storms you faced each day. That realization has changed the meaning of countless memories because they finally understand that your quietness was not emptiness, it was sacrifice. You chose to carry difficult seasons with grace, instead of allowing those seasons to become the center of every conversation. That kind of strength is something they had never fully appreciated until now, and the more they think about it, the more respect grows inside their heart, because your heart needs this right now. Know that your soulmate has also begun questioning what true courage really looks like. They once believed courage meant speaking boldly, standing confidently, or overcoming visible obstacles. Now they understand that some of the greatest acts of courage happen where no one is watching. Courage is waking up each morning while carrying worries no one else can see and still choosing to be kind. Courage is continuing to encourage others while quietly searching for strength yourself. Courage is refusing to let life's hardest moments take away your ability to love with sincerity. They now recognize that this was the kind of courage you lived every day. It was never performed for recognition. It was simply part of who you became through every challenge you faced. This realization has inspired them more than they ever expected, because they finally understand that your greatest victories were not public achievements. They were private decisions made over and over again, choosing hope when despair seemed easier, and choosing compassion when bitterness would have been understandable. Another truth has quietly begun transforming the way they think about your connection. They no longer wonder why certain conversations ended sooner than expected, or why there were moments when you seemed emotionally drained. Instead, they recognize that you were constantly balancing your own unseen struggles while still trying to create peace for those around you. They understand now that there were countless opportunities when you could have allowed your pain to become someone else's responsibility, but you chose a different path. You carried your burdens with quiet dignity because you never wanted the people you loved to feel responsible for wounds they did not create. That realization has filled your soulmate with profound admiration because they see that your compassion remained stronger than your circumstances. Even when life tested you in ways they never realized, you continued protecting the hearts of others before thinking about your own comfort. Very few people possess that kind of selfless resilience, and they now understand just how extraordinary it truly is. And listen to this, because everything your soulmate has learned is leading them toward a decision that begins within their own heart before it ever reaches their actions. They understand now that discovering your hidden battles has given them something far more valuable than information. It has given them perspective. They have become slower to judge, quicker to listen, and far more willing to recognize that every person carries unseen chapters the world rarely notices. Most importantly, they now see you through a completely different light. They no longer define you by moments they once misunderstood. They define you by the incredible strength it took to remain gentle in a world that gave you countless reasons to become guarded. Every quiet sacrifice, every unseen victory, and every private battle has become proof of the remarkable character you carried all along. That truth has settled permanently within their heart, and with each passing day they feel themselves moving closer to a future shaped not by assumptions about who you were, but by a deep appreciation for the extraordinary soul you have always been. And listen carefully, because after everything your soulmate has discovered, one truth has become impossible for them to ignore. They no longer see the hidden battles you fought as painful chapters that should define your life. Instead, they now understand that those unseen struggles became the very foundation of the remarkable person you are today. Every obstacle you quietly overcame strengthened qualities that could never have been developed through an easy path. Every difficult season taught you patience that could not be learned overnight. Every private disappointment deepened your compassion for others. Looking back now, your soulmate realizes they spent too much time wondering why certain moments unfolded the way they did without ever considering everything you were carrying beneath the surface. Today, that perspective has completely changed. They no longer remember you as someone who occasionally seemed distant or emotionally tired. They remember someone who continued choosing kindness while silently fighting battles that would have caused many people to lose hope. That realization has become one of the most meaningful lessons of their life, because they finally understand that true strength is not revealed by a life without struggles. It is revealed by the heart that continues shining despite them. As they continue reflecting on your journey, they have begun seeing something they never noticed before. They understand now that your hidden battles were never about surviving alone. They were about protecting the light within you. There were countless opportunities where bitterness could have replaced compassion, where disappointment could have replaced trust, and where exhaustion could have replaced generosity. Yet somehow you continued choosing a different path. You never allowed temporary hardships to permanently change your character. Instead, every challenge quietly refined the person you were becoming. Your soulmate now realizes that this was your greatest victory. It was not simply overcoming difficult moments. It was refusing to become someone your pain wanted you to become. That understanding has filled them with admiration because they see that genuine character is not built during peaceful seasons. It is revealed during the moments when life tests every value a person claims to possess. Looking back now, they recognize that your integrity remained steady even when circumstances gave you every excuse to abandon it. Because your heart needs this right now, know that your soulmate has also begun changing the way they approach every relationship in their life. Your story has taught them something they will carry forever. They now understand that every person they meet is fighting battles invisible to the outside world. They have become slower to criticize, quicker to offer compassion, and far more willing to listen beyond appearances. Before learning the truth about your hidden struggles, they often believed they understood people after seeing only a small part of their journey. Now they recognize how incomplete that perspective truly was. Your quiet perseverance has become a reminder that the strongest souls rarely announce their pain. They simply continue moving forward one step at a time, trusting that someday their story will be understood without needing constant explanation. This lesson has transformed the way your soulmate sees not only you, but also themselves. They realize that maturity is not found in having all the answers. It is found in having the humility to admit there is always more to another person's story than what first meets the eye. Another beautiful realization has quietly settled into their heart. They no longer wish they had discovered your struggles sooner simply to erase the past. Instead, they appreciate that this truth arrived when they were finally capable of understanding it. Had they learned everything before their own heart had grown, they might have overlooked its meaning just as they overlooked so many other quiet signs. Now, however, every detail carries purpose. Every memory has become an opportunity for gratitude instead of regret. They see that your resilience did not simply inspire them, it challenged them to become better themselves. They want to face life's own difficulties with the same grace you displayed. They want to learn how to remain compassionate when circumstances become difficult. They want to protect their own kindness the way you protected yours. In many ways, your hidden battles have become their greatest teacher, revealing that the most powerful examples are rarely spoken through words alone. They are lived consistently day after day, through ordinary decisions that quietly shape extraordinary lives. And listen to this, because this is where everything comes together. Your soulmate now understands that what you were quietly fighting behind closed doors was never the true story. The true story was the person who walked through those battles without surrendering the beauty of their heart. They see someone who remained honest when dishonesty seemed easier, someone who continued believing in goodness when life repeatedly tested that belief, and someone who never stopped giving hope, even during moments when they themselves desperately needed it. That is the truth that has completely transformed their heart. They no longer focus on what life tried to take from you. They focus on everything it failed to take. It could not steal your compassion. It could not destroy your integrity. It could not silence your ability to care deeply for others. Those qualities remained untouched, and today your soulmate recognizes them as the greatest treasures you possess. The hidden battles are no longer just memories of difficult seasons. They have become lasting proof that your spirit was stronger than every obstacle placed before it. Now, whenever your soulmate thinks of you, they no longer see someone defined by hardship. They see someone refined by it, strengthened by it, and prepared by it to love with a depth, wisdom, and authenticity that only a truly resilient heart could ever possess.